Greetings. In the United States today, one pressing issue is the government shutdown. It should not be any surprise to people. The Republicans argued fiercely in January with the fiscal cliff deal that they would hold out raising the debt ceiling unless a debt reducing spending plan will become in effect. So we are in danger of not paying some of our federal employees and also entitlement benefits. The federal government seems to be between a rock and a hard place. Concerning foreign policy, I just read that the Obama administration will be stopping funds going to Egypt because of their crackdown, the bloody crackdown of the Muslim Brotherhood. The United States is no fan of the Muslim Brotherhood and their hard-lining Islamic ideology. We would prefer for the political system to kick them out of power. But the Egyptian army's coup and the crackdown of the Muslim Brotherhood has been a terrible dilemma to United States democratic principles. In essence, we are between a rock and a hard place. I was thinking about my life today, as with all of us, especially with people who have been going through those events I mentioned earlier, those negative events. I feel like some areas in my life has been between a rock and a hard place. Should I go in this direction? Should I go in that direction? Should I support this agenda? Should I support that agenda? We can get a coin and throw it up in the air, heads or tails, as I have done in the past and prayed about it. And then we still could be thinking that all of our options do not look pretty good. We may be thinking that I still do not know which way to go. For a Bible study that I had earlier, I was reading Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 to 16. Reading the passage, I was instantly reminded of how we have God to turn to when we are in trouble and worried about life's concerns. I say that mankind can barely see their hands right before their faces, but God can see all the way through, down through eternity in a blink. We cannot always weigh carefully enough the pros and cons of each decision, but God knows every detail of every possible outcome of every decision. Even if God's answer to our prayers do not come right away, it is amazingly therapeutic in going before Him in prayer, in praise, and petition. The most beautiful thing that separates Christianity from other religions around the world is that Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 to 16 informs us of a God who can identify with our distresses. God in Jesus walked the earth and had experienced what we are experiencing. Times of decisions or indecisions, handling people, thinking about the future. Jesus is our high priest who can identify with our infirmities. Let me read Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 to 16. Therefore, since we have a high priest who has ascended into the heavens, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold firmly to the faith we profess. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet he did not sin. Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. I will emphasize that second. Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 and 16. Make no mistake about it, Jesus, who is eternally God, did not have to come to earth in order to know everything about us. God is the creator of human beings, us. Like a car maker who knows the ins and outs of a car, God knows the ins and outs of His human creation. But God comes to us because His love for His creation, His love for us. He wants to dwell with us. He wants to be a blessing to us. However, we must want to be dependent on Him. We must want to go to Him. The world is between a rock and a hard place. This is why we need to seek God and ask Him about the things in our lives. We will feel better knowing that He can answer us more than adequately. We will feel better in the process of praying because praying to God is therapeutic in itself. We will have confidence in the fact that God often reaches down where we are at and seeks to take us where we need to go for our own good.